been wanting to do a LinkedIn one for a while because we get a lot of people watching over at LinkedIn. It does really well for me, and I still know nothing. So it's so good that Luis is here. I know Connor's got some great questions. I would love to know for you guys in the comments. Are you using LinkedIn? Are you doing video on LinkedIn? Because that's kind of the subject of our talk today. I'd love to know if you're how often you're putting videos on LinkedIn, what you're actually doing on there, because I think it's an underutilized network. So, Connor, what about you? Do you put any video, all your TikToks over there?
No, I don't put anything over there. I'm always a little cautious, I think. I don't know why. I guess because we have this notion in our head that it has to be so professional, and it does. But I know that there's room to have fun and to play and work with video. So I'm equally excited for Day-to-Day show. That's for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, and you guys, Louise is here, and I've known, how long have I known Louise? Social media marketing world, like from ever ago. But every time I talk with her, I learn something, and then I have to go rearrange everything on LinkedIn. So be prepared. That's what you're going to do today, too. We've got some friends already showing up. We've got the amazing Gary Stockton saying, good morning, everyone. LinkedIn Daily. He's in LinkedIn Daily. Yeah, Gary is a master. So, yes, excited for that. So, let's see. We're going to, so we got Matt Hughes chiming in saying, hey, guys. Juan is here saying, hey, Social Media News Live, and Jeff C. Martin is here. Yes, crucial to place videos on LinkedIn. Be bold, just do it. Yeah, Martin is another LinkedIn master. Ask Ralph is here saying, good morning. I'm not currently posting videos on LinkedIn, but may start posting now. Well, Ralph, I think maybe after this show, you might want to be able to do that. So this is going to be a great one. Hey, Dan saying hi from watching over on YouTube. Thank you so much for showing up. I've got so much to talk to Louise about, so I'm going to hit go on the podcasting machine, and we'll get started. You ready, Connor?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hello, folks. Welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Connor Brown, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the world of social media and more.
Have you ever wondered how to harness the full potential of LinkedIn for your business? Maybe you're interested in discovering the power of video on LinkedIn to elevate your professional presence. Or maybe you're eager just to make LinkedIn, your profile, more engaging and dynamic. If those questions hit home, then you are in for an exciting show. Today, we're excited to have a special guest who has mastered the art of leveraging LinkedIn video for maximum impact. Louise Brogan is here to share her journey, her wisdom, and her top strategies for using video on LinkedIn. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind, and get ready for this week's episode of Social Media News Live. Louise, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much. It's so good to be back on your show, Jeff. It's been a while, so I'm delighted.
I know, and you being from Belfast, I mean, you just always class up the show. Us Americans love hearing that accent. It just elevates the show to a whole. That's the only reason I bring Ian Anderson Gray on the show. Actually, don't tell him that. But yes, it's amazing. I'm so glad you're here. So, Connor, why don't you make the introductions?
Absolutely, on top of her accent, she has so many accolades to bring to the show. If you don't know Louise, you should. Louise Brogan runs a boutique marketing agency working with entrepreneurs, SMEs, and professionals who want to raise their profile through LinkedIn in a genuine and valuable way. Louise is an international speaker and hosts the LinkedIn with Louise podcast and YouTube channel. For the past 3 years, she has been a small business Britain champion in the top 100 small businesses in the UK and the top 100 female entrepreneurs. In 2019, she was invited to attend number 10 Downing Street to represent small businesses and was invited in 2022 to meet King Charles at Buckingham Palace at a reception honoring small business contributions to the UK economy. I'm not sure we can live up to royalty, but we're so excited you're joining us today, Louise.
So, Louise, I just have to just stop and ask your question. What was it like to meet the king? Was there all this protocol you had to do? Were you super nervous? Tell us about that experience.
I didn't know I was going to meet him.
Oh.
So that was it was a surprise.
Wow.
I knew I was invited to Buckingham Palace along with 399 other people who work with small businesses in the UK. But I did not know I was going to meet him until literally 10 minutes before.
Wow.
So yeah, it was amazing. So I went along. And we went in. The whole thing, start to finish, Jeff, was phenomenal. The staff were amazing. Went into Buckingham Palace, which is actually nothing like a Disney princess castle.
A lot more
It's all
scary.
red velvet and gold everywhere and massive. I went in upstairs, and like every event you go to, you get your little name badge. So I went up to the table to get my name badge, and they couldn't find my name badge.
Oh, no.
And I thought, oh Lord, I knew I wasn't supposed to be here. That's, you know. And so anyway, I had a pink ticket, and everyone else had a blue ticket. And eventually, a lady came over and said, "Oh, you're meant to come with me." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Where am I going? Like out the exit?"
Right.
And she took me through the big room into like the big stateroom into another smaller room, and there's a little table. It had 10 names on it, and they said, "This is your badge." And I was like, "Could somebody please tell me what's happening?" And they said, "You've been selected to meet the king in the lineup ahead of the event this evening." So I was taken into another room, and this butler came over, like top hat, not top hat, but like tails and everything,
Right.
with a tray of champagne. And I took a sip of champagne, and I thought, I'm going to be sick. I set it down. I
Wow.
set it down on this little beautiful gold table, and somebody, I guess, obviously cleared it away. And then I was in this lineup, and everybody else in the lineup would be a household name in the UK, you know. And people like, you have Shark Tank, we have Dragon's Den. So one of the judges from Dragon's Den was there. You know, the founder of a bank was there. It was, you know, and then me. And so the king came in with the man behind telling him who we all were, and he introduced himself, asked about the business, and you know, said it was very nice to meet me. I don't even know what I said. I have no idea what I said.
That is
went down
so
the line.
cool.
It was so cool. And then back into the main room to mingle with everybody else. So it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
That is so cool. You never know what is going to happen. I'm so excited that you were able to do that. That is so fun. Gary Stockton says, "Well, thankfully they didn't take Louise to the tower." Yes, that's a good point there, Gary. Yes, very good. And our friend Ian Anderson Gray, who I don't think has ever met any royalty. Maybe he has, because he is royalty in my eyes. He's saying, howdy, howdy, howdy. And he goes, "It's Louise." So I'm sure you guys had fun. Anyway, so we're going to get started. But one of the things that you'll never get down in the dungeons with is our friends over at Ecamm. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com. They are the sponsors of the show. You can save 15% by using code Jeff15. And by the way, they're closed for the Creator Camp that's coming up, but we've got an in for you. If you go here to jeffc.com/win, you could win a chance to go to Creator Camp. They're all sold out, but this is a way to get in there. I'm going to give you guys even a secret code at the end of this show, jeffc.com/win. Make sure you guys go check that out. All right, let's jump right into this, because there's so many things that I want to talk about LinkedIn video. But first of all, Louise, you know, you have worked, I mean, that is your whole thing, is working with businesses, with LinkedIn, and not only just meeting the king, that's just kind of a perk, but you have really kind of optimized how people can be on and show up on LinkedIn. So the first thing is, like, you have a great article on your blog right now about what to do for your profile. So can you kind of give us like an overview of what you really need to do for your profile for 2024? Because that's super important on LinkedIn. And also, does video play into that in any way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when we work with people, and I basically go from top to bottom on their profile with them one-to-one. So the key areas to think about on your LinkedIn profile are having an up-to-date photograph as your profile photograph, using the banner image at the back. A lot of people leave that blank, so it just has a standardized gray box. Using that banner image at the back to highlight your business brand. If you're a speaker, it could be pictures of you speaking on stage on there. Of course, there's a picture of me and the king on mine.
That's right.
And then writing your headline has always been really key. So if you don't, at the top of your profile, Jeff, it's called the introductory card. So it's your photographs, your name, your headline, your contact info, and then links to your company page. That whole block is called your introductory card. And when you write a headline on there, you want it to reflect what it is that you do and who you do it for. So I think there's a guy in the comments earlier, it says something about Christian finance. So he would include that in his headline, so that when you're active on LinkedIn, you're commenting on people's posts or you're writing your own posts, people see your face, your name, and your headline. So your headline should attract your ideal clients to click on your profile to find out more about you. And then optimizing the whole profile is so important, because not only is it, people will read your profile and want to know if you're the right fit for them. And that's your about section. That whole piece in your about section is not really about you and your career history. It's about how you can help the people who are reading it. If you are a business owner, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, that should be about how you can help other people as opposed to being about you. But then as you're going down, if you fully fill it all out, your experience section, your skills section, honors and awards, publications, etc., that's where the LinkedIn algorithm is searching through for keywords for what it is that you do. So if you are a confidence coach, or if you are a guy working in finance with people who, in a particular area, when we are searching for that, not just on LinkedIn, but on the internet, the search engines are going through all the keywords that you have throughout your profile, and that's what pushes you up to the top of the search results. So really want to think about filling out your whole profile to get seen by the people you want to get found by. But video on your profile is, the key places to put it are in your featured section. And if you're thinking, well, I don't have a featured section, Louise, everybody does once they create it. So it's where it's called, they call it a featured section. It's a bit complicated to find, to be honest, because to add to it, you add them as highlights onto your profile. I have videos on how to do this over my YouTube channel if people want to check that out. But in there, you can pin links to videos. You cannot upload a video into the featured section, but you can add a link to it. So if you have a video of you, like a talking head video maybe of you, or your best video that you've done on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever, you can get the link to that and add that to your featured section, and then people can click on that and go and watch your video. And that's a really nice place to put a short explainer video about you, your products, your services, whatever it is that you do and who you want to speak to. So it could literally be a 30-second talking head intro to you that people will click as they go down your profile. The other place to add your videos to your profile is in your experience section. So I would say 99% of people's profiles on LinkedIn, when you go to someone's experience section, all you see is a list of their previous jobs and links to the places they worked. But again, here you can add media. So you can add links to video. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile, under my business brand, there are links to videos like speaker reel videos in there under the speaker section. So again, it's linking out to somewhere else, your housing video on the internet. So to add these things onto your experience section, when you open up your experience, and a big box opens up and says, how long did you work here? Tell us about the role. What skills did you use in this, et cetera, et cetera. The very bottom of that box, it says add media. And it's not obvious. When you click on add media and it says add in a link, you can add a link to a video in there as well. So you can absolutely put video on your profile. It's just knowing where to actually add those things.
Yeah. So I got some follow-up questions on that. First of all, how often should you update your profile? Because I'll be honest, I've met some people at the conferences and I looked at their profile beforehand. I'm like, whoa, you're not the same person. Like, how do you do it? Like once a year, every quarter? How often do you update your photo?
Well, interestingly, if you update your profile regularly, like maybe every few months, it kind of refreshes you through the LinkedIn algorithm. So it's a good idea to do it anyway. But your profile photograph, if I look at your profile on LinkedIn, I should recognize you if I met you in person. Let's put it that way. Jeff, I meet a lot of people and I'm like, when was that photo taken?
Yeah. High school? Was that your sorority picture? Yeah. So the other question I have is, because I know folks, you also need to go and subscribe to Louise's YouTube channel. I mean, it is very, very good. Tons of followers over there. She knows what she's talking about, and really great content. But how often, because you have your section on your LinkedIn page, how often are you refreshing the content, like from your YouTube channel? Because you're putting out, maybe twice a month a YouTube video. Do you go refresh that on your LinkedIn profile as well? Yeah.
On the featured section, no, because what I want to put in there is the key cornerstone or pillar content. So for example, it might be something that, the 10 key things to do your LinkedIn profile. So if someone watches that, then suddenly they're interested and want to learn more. So I'd be more inclined to put a key piece of content in there rather than changing it up all the time. Because a lot of the videos I create, Jeff, would be new features on LinkedIn, new company page features, for example, and they're quite niche. Whereas if someone is looking at my profile for the first time, maybe they're interested in talking to me about training, or maybe they're interested in talking to me about our content done for you service. So usually those people are at the beginning of their LinkedIn journey. So if I was talking about something really detailed, they would think, oh, this is not for me. She's too specific or niche. So if it was, how to create and update your LinkedIn profile today, that is more, it's video content for my audience as and when they're coming to find me. So it's, having the right things in the right place for when someone comes across you initially.
So speaking of training, we got real quick, and I know a lot of people are going to have this question, so I want to pull it up real quick right now. He goes, do you offer a service to help me fix my LinkedIn because I need help? So would the best place for them to connect with you be your website, Louise, that we've been pulling up?
Yes, it's called, Ralph, it's called the LinkedIn VIP, and it's on my website, louisebrogan.com. Yeah, have a look there.
Okay, cool.
Got to check that out for sure. So I think when you've maximized your profile, or you've gone through it and you've refreshed it, you updated all the sections, you added in video where applicable, and it all makes sense. Louise, at what point should someone start to maybe consider the paid LinkedIn version, whether it's premium or what have you? I think a lot of people might do it when they're looking for a job, right? Because you get more searches and you can get more messages right to the people. Or if you're in sales, that's part of your everyday. You're going to have it. But I also know, with the paid version, you get some additional features, like maybe custom buttons. I don't know if you get additional features with videos or things like that. But when should someone start to consider paying for LinkedIn?
So it's a very different answer if you'd asked me this 6 months ago, because LinkedIn have changed quite a lot. They're putting a lot of their key things that we want behind paid profiles. So I used to say, don't consider paying for it until you've mastered it, basically. So you're sharing content regularly. People are reaching out to find out how to work with you, and you know that this is really working for you as a platform. But the custom button link is such a good value tool. So basically what that is, on my introductory card, if you look at it, there's a button that mine says book an appointment. It could be visit my website or check out my portfolio. Mine says book an appointment. And not only is that on my profile, but every single post I write on LinkedIn has book an appointment underneath my name and my headline. So that is a really valuable tool for me, and it does direct people to book into our inquiry form. So it's a different, as with all of these social media platforms, they change all the time.
Right.
So you can always get a 30-day trial of LinkedIn Premium, and there are different packages. So the Sales Navigator is totally different again. In dollar price, I'm not 100% sure. I know in the UK, which is where I live, there is the personal profile upgrade is about £50 a month, and the Sales Navigator package is about £80 a month. So it'd be a lot more in dollars. I pay monthly rather than on an annual package, et cetera, et cetera. And now they've also brought in premium custom premium profiles for business pages as well, which they are definitely ironing out a few wrinkles in, because I have that feature, and some of the things it's supposed to do, like the custom link on all my posts, doesn't show up, which is not fabulous. But as someone who teaches people and companies how to use LinkedIn, I kind of have to have the premium features so that I can show them to my customers when they ask.
So
most people don't need it.
Yeah, Dan says it's $29.99 USD for premium. So Louise, a couple people I follow, for me, my thing that I'm trying to do right now is grow my email list, because I think that's really super important. And he has a button right there that says, subscribe to my newsletter on everything. And I'm like, is that worth paying, $30 a month for me to have that on there? Because we put a lot of repurposed content of all our guests and everything. And and then people click on that stuff. So I'm like, is it worth it?
Okay.
That's really cool.
Here's a little insider information. It will not be $30 for you starting today. I would think that Dan is grandfathered in at that price, because what happened with me, I had the personal premium business profile, and I was paying $50 a month, and I upgraded to Sales Navigator to check it out. And then I thought, after a month, oh, shall I just go back to my normal price? And it doesn't. I've lost the normal price.
Oh no. Well, I think when I checked for mine, it was $30. So I'm gonna hopefully maybe I should grab it right now. I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding. But I those custom buttons, the things that you can do, like you said, book an appointment, a lot of other things. I just think, wow, that's really, really cool. So yeah, and Dan says Sales Nav is close to 100. I think it was 99 when I looked at it.
There you are, yeah. So the other thing, Jeff, with the thing I do love about the premium profile is that you can see who's looking at your profile. And so, for example, I was at a conference in the UK this week, and I met a lot of people who are interested in our services. Now, if those people are looking at my profile over the next few weeks, those are warm leads. And then I would reach out and message those people and see if they've got any questions I can help with. So without premium, you have no access to that.
So on that, because they'll give you little teasers like, hey, Connor looked at your profile, but there's 20 more that look too. You could go if you had this thing. Is it creepy to say, like, hey, I saw you looking at my profile. Do you have any questions? I mean, do you do that a lot? I don't know. So I don't know the etiquette there.
I saw you checking this out. I saw your interest.
I saw you turn around and look at my beard. That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. LinkedIn is a business platform, right? So I guess it's how you word it. I like, between the three of us, because nobody can hear me, obviously, right? I do see other LinkedIn consultants looking at my profile, and sometimes I just can't resist, and I'll send them a message and say, hey, how's things going? I saw you were looking at my profile.
Yes, that's probably worth it for some people. So, okay, I want to dive into this because I've seen a little bit about it. Some people talked about it and then they kind of quit, but it's rolling out to more and more people. It's this new short form video content on LinkedIn. So it's only for mobile. And so when I look at my mobile now, I have a video tab that's giving me TikTok-ish, YouTube shortish kind of videos now. So can you talk about this, how it works, and like, should we jump on this now? Because to me, every platform is getting into short form, or they're short form and then they're getting to long form like TikTok is trying to do. But what are your thoughts on this, and how are you recommending your clients use this or start thinking and strategically thinking about this?
Yes. So number one, it's only available in America. So we can't actually add to it. So it's being rolled out. LinkedIn, when they bring out new features, they roll them out to a small test group first, then a slightly larger group, and they literally go in iterations, I think, of 5. So, and nobody really understands who gets what features first. I tend to get features for company pages first, but not necessarily for personal profiles. And it's like, well, I'd really like that feature, so I could do it for my YouTube channel. But there's no pushing to get into the next set of releases. So that's one thing. So if you don't have, it's a new feed for LinkedIn mobile. So it's not showing up as part of your normal news feed. It is a separate feed. However, if you are outside of the US, you can still see the content. All you need to do on your mobile is scroll down until you see a video in your news feed, click on it, and it becomes the video feed. And then it is the TikTok swipe up to the next person. And it's all those things like like, dislike, forward, heart. I think it's got the follow button on it. So actually for company pages, I think it would be really worthwhile because it's really easy to hit that follow button when you're watching a video. LinkedIn had a bit of difficulty. Well, they wouldn't say that. I should maybe say that. I might get cancelled.
No more special features for you, Louise. That's right.
So during the pandemic, they released something called LinkedIn Creator Mode. And so you had to switch your account to creator mode to access LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn newsletters, etc., LinkedIn audio. Then they did some research and they discovered that people on LinkedIn don't like to be thought of as creators because we're a special brand of people. So it's interesting that they are exploring this vertical video feed again, because I don't know if you remember, Jeff, but they did LinkedIn stories for a while.
Right.
And I really liked it, but it sat on your mobile as little rings, little faces along the bottom.
Right.
Kind of like Instagram stories sits across the top. And then they just decided it didn't work and they did away with it. So now they're trying this new vertical video feature. Although, however, when I was scrolling through the feed earlier in preparation for today's call, it's not just vertical videos showing up there either. There were some landscape videos with like black above and below. So lots of different kinds of videos are showing up in that feed. I am not particularly talking about it with our clients yet, because I wouldn't recommend something to a client that I can't actually test out myself. And until I'm able to add to that, I wouldn't be doing it with clients, although I do have a lot of American clients. But if you're in business and you're building your business network on LinkedIn, I am getting feedback from people. They don't really like this style of TikTok, Instagram story content on their LinkedIn feed. But again, LinkedIn is more, LinkedIn as a business themselves, there's over 1 billion account users on there. At the heart of it, it's not set up for business owners and entrepreneurs, although we use it. It's set up for organizations, companies, professionals, people in careers. That is their whole business is built around people who want to go and find a job or find a new employee. Right. So, is that vertical feed to attract that younger generation who are looking for their next career? I would suggest so, not necessarily for the entrepreneur space.
Yeah.
I can see it now, here's how you ask for more money, right?
Yeah, like that's point stuff up. Yeah.
And you get it. You get your job next. Yeah. Dan brings up a couple of points. I just checked my LinkedIn on my iPhone, and I don't have a video tab anywhere. But Dan's saying, you can't jump on it yet. It's in beta. And then he also said he's a tester and he can't add videos yet without flagging to my community manager. So
interesting. Wow. So I thought it would be something like, YouTube, if you make it under a minute, it automatically is a short. And I was wondering if like they were going to do the same thing, like LinkedIn, if it's under, a minute, it's going to be able to be in that feed. So that's interesting, Dan. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think, you can still use video like Luis, you're talking about adding it to your profile, those sorts of things. But is it a good play, I guess, right now to help you build your brand on LinkedIn? Like, whenever they roll out a new feature across the social platforms, it always seems like when you're an early adopter or you're utilizing a new feature, they reward you by participating in that. When it comes to video, just in general, whether it's, live streaming, this is being live streamed right on LinkedIn right now. You still think that it's a good brand play overall to dive into video on LinkedIn?
Oh, so much so that has actually become our core offer, is to do video with clients. And LinkedIn are very keen on people doing video. Absolutely. And the kinds of video we do different kinds of video with clients. We would do talking head video. So just literally, sharing your expertise in a short video, maybe 2 to 3 minutes long, and with a written post alongside that, of course. And we also have done live panels with clients on company pages on video. What I love about video on LinkedIn is that it hangs around a lot longer. And when you look at somebody's profile, so if you went and looked at my profile and you scroll down to the activity section, which is all the posts and the articles I've shared, et cetera, video has its own tab. So you can click on that and you can see all the videos that are in there. And, you can go and look at somebody who's in your space and check out what videos they have shared and see what's getting the most engagement. And video also has its own tab on the company page. So LinkedIn is, I think, really rewards video, and you get a lot of visibility with it. It's not like the other platforms in that if you post something today, people aren't watching it tomorrow. I don't really use Instagram and Facebook so much anymore for business. But if you put a video on your LinkedIn company page, people are watching it for like a couple of weeks, and it's getting found in the search as well. So I think it's a really strong medium to use on LinkedIn, and I think they reward it for that as well.
So I want to jump in really quick to talk about the different kind of forms or types of video to use on LinkedIn. And once again, Louise has a great post about this on her blog. If you go to louisebrogan.com, for you guys listening on the podcast, that's LOUISEBROGAN.com. Go check out her site. But let's talk about those different types, like educational, promotional, behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. Let's start with the ones that you have found to be the most effective, and maybe the ones that you like. You probably don't need to do that on LinkedIn at this time.
Yeah, so it depends. If you're an individual or a company, it would differentiate for me. So as an individual, I really think doing at least one video a week where you're talking about whatever if you're a service provider, especially, you're answering people's questions about your service or your industry. So I have a couple of people that I work with, and they are in leadership development. So they will talk about, what makes a great leader, or how to deal with issues in your team. And it's literally like a 2 to 3 minute standalone video, and I'll be giving an example. So it's engaging, it's interesting to that person's audience. So I love that kind of content. On company pages, if you are a company and you are trying to attract and retain your talent, one of the best videos you can do is what it's like to work here. What's a day in a life look like of somebody who works on the the office floor. You could interview your team. There's some big brands who are doing, we had a away day, and here's the team doing, something, whatever. People really like seeing the company and who's in the company, and resonating with, if I want to apply for a job at a software company, I can see, I think it's Buffer possibly, I can see what kind of organization they are, because I'm literally watching people who work there talk about what they do in their day to day. And there's always like the fun stuff, it's somebody's birthday and we all surprised them with a cake, and that's all, that's fun and entertaining. But actually, if you meet Barbara, and she's been working here for 5 years, and you can see where she started and what she's gone to and how she's felt supported through the way, you'd be like, oh, that looks like the kind of company with the career advancement that I'm interested in. Let me go and find out about that. The client that we did the panel with, they're in L&D, learning and development. So we were talking about how learning and development has changed over the last 5 years, and how they're introducing AI. And I was literally interviewing the 3 members of the team and pulling in their different pieces of stories. And what we did there, Jeff, we did a 45-minute panel. And when you are the person who's managing the content for customers, or if it's you on your own and you do a 45-minute interview with somebody, as you can take that, chop it up, and repurpose the life out of that content. So it's a really nice pillar piece of content to start with, that you can then extract lots and lots of value from ongoing.
Yeah, and we're going to chop this one up like crazy.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of video that you wouldn't do? Like, is there something like, don't waste your time doing that type of video on LinkedIn?
So I am not on TikTok. I don't know what we were doing there with the hands. Earlier.
Don't dance on LinkedIn is what you're pretty much saying.
I think, I mean, there was a real spate of people doing it's Friday, I'm at the beach with my cocktail type, like.
That just makes people mad.
It's a professional platform. Just stop it.
Yeah. So we've got, before we move on to the next section, Connor, I want to I want to bring up some comments here. Martin says, this is back when we were talking about when people are responding and you're able to look at them with a professional profile. He goes, I message visitors to my LinkedIn page with a customized message only if they're in my very specific audience. It works very well, but time consuming when you get 40 to 50 visitors a day. How do you handle that, Louise? Because I know you probably have this problem quite a bit.
Yes, I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, and I suppose like Martin says, I wouldn't ignore a message from somebody where he's actively going, because you can see who's following your page and who's new there. I would look at that and I would think, if somebody's not connected to me, I would pick them and send them a connection request. in my business, we don't work at volume of clients. So we tend to work with, because I do one-to-one training, and we have, capacity for 10 to 20 retainer clients. If I had 50 people a day inquiring, I'd be like, oh, okay, we need to change our business model.
Right.
So I would be, if someone's following me and on the company page and they're not my first level connection, but they look like my ideal client, absolutely, I would send them a message and send them a connection request. I get messages from people all the time on my personal account, and this is where my touch typing speed comes into play very nicely, because I can fire off a message really fast.
Right. Well, and you probably get this too, since you're a podcast as well. I get all sorts of people wanting to be on the podcast, and and you can tell they haven't listened to the podcast at all.
Yes.
And I'm like, just stop.
You know what? Something I got the other day, Chris Ward, we had on the show, and I just, after the show, I reached out on LinkedIn and said, thanks so much for being on the show. And she sent me a voice message back. Very, very quick, but it just adds the personality to it. I really, really like that.
Yeah, Chris is
and
great.
Connor, you can send video messages too.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you can send a video message. So that's actually, I forgot about that. You can send a video message to somebody, and you can also set up a Zoom or Microsoft Teams call directly in your messages in LinkedIn. And you can either schedule them in advance or you can go straight on. LinkedIn have their own internal one as well, which nobody really uses it, but it's actually really nice, because when you get on the video with somebody, it pulls up their LinkedIn headline as well. So, it's very top of mind who they are when you're actually speaking to them. So yeah, there's loads of cool little features that most people have no idea about.
Yeah. Don't send Gary a voice message though. He doesn't like them. So I'm going to send everybody send Gary a voice message after the show. Just tell him you love him and that it's okay, Gary. Yeah. So, but he has some great points too. And this is a hack that I didn't know about. Gary says not many people know that you can upload many more photos from mobile compared to the desktop, and more photos increase engagement. He thinks the limit on desktop is 11 photos. So that's really, is it a carousel kind of post that you can put on LinkedIn? Does that kind of work?
That's slightly different. You can upload, so multi-image posts are the most engaging content you can share on LinkedIn pages right now. So Social Insider did a whole study on this, and that's the most engaging content because you click through them. A carousel is a swipe across, so that's slightly different. And somebody called me on this yesterday and said, Louise, I thought they did away with carousel posts. So LinkedIn tried to create their own version of carousel, and nobody took it up because we just upload our carousel slides as a document post. And I apologize if I'm going too into the
Oh no, we love nerdy stuff here.
Yeah. So you can still upload a PDF set of slides, which is a carousel post on LinkedIn, and people click through to get to the next one and swipe across. That gets really good engagement. But bigger engagement right now is multi-image posts. So you upload the individual photographs. You can reorder them. It's really cool. You can reorder them. I recommend you put alt text on them. And then you can tag people inside the photographs, which is much neater than you see people do a post, loads of photographs and then like a whole load of tags underneath. I don't like how that looks, but you can tag people in the photographs. So that's the most engaging kind of post right now. But also, whoever said that about Gary, I think it was Gary said about the multi-images. When you upload a video to LinkedIn, you get 15 minutes on desktop, whereas 10 minutes on mobile. So that's interesting. It's longer. So there must be, what was the other way around? He said one of the things, Jeff and Connor, is about LinkedIn is that the development team who developed the platform for mobile and the development team that developed the platform for desktop are completely separate, which is why you get features looking quite different or released at different times on the two platforms.
Very interesting.
Gotcha. Very cool. Now I have to test all this stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. So there's another form of video that does well or is doing well on LinkedIn. Enough that we do it. We're live streaming right now on LinkedIn. Yes, of course we have Ecamm, which is awesome. So it lets us stream to multiple places. But right now in today's day and age, Luis, do you think live stream is worth doing on LinkedIn? And I guess from that, the pros and cons of doing it. I think you can come up with an idea for a video, and it's one thing to record it in advance and then post to LinkedIn because you're kind of in control of it. But that live thing, anything can happen, right? So some of the pros and cons on LinkedIn, and what would you say to someone that's thinking of starting live streaming on LinkedIn?
I'm a huge fan of going live on LinkedIn. Huge. So number one, you can't go live directly on LinkedIn. You have to use a third-party tool. So I believe there are 5 tools that they allow you to use, Ecamm being one of them. So you have to have an account with one of those other tools. Then you go to that tool to actually create the LinkedIn Live. I never go live straight away. I did. I was at a LinkedIn conference. It wasn't by LinkedIn, but a conference about LinkedIn in the UK in March. And on the morning after, one of the other speakers went live on her phone.
Wow.
With no notice, and dragged me into it. And I was like, I'm having my breakfast coffee. Can I have my coffee first? But anyway, it was good fun. It was really good fun. But what I do is I will schedule it in advance, because here's why. You use your tool to go into create the LinkedIn Live. It creates an event on LinkedIn. You set the time for when you're going to put it up live. You add your thumbnail. So it's the same size as the thumbnail you put on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You add your thumbnail. Then you go across to LinkedIn. So I will go live on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time.
Right.
And so I go across. Yeah. So then I go across to LinkedIn, and it has created an event for me. If you create the event on your company page, so you're streaming live onto your company page, is different to if you are going to go live onto your personal profile. With the company page, people click to register to attend the event. So you invite people to attend on the event. And it's a one-click registration, which pulls in their contact details. And you have to have a privacy policy on your website. So on the LinkedIn event, it's got a link to you will have the detail. You have to populate it all from scratch. So even if you're on your third-party tool and you've written what the event's about, when you go into LinkedIn events on your company page, you have to add in a link to your privacy policy on your company website that then allows people to register, and you get their contact details. You can then assign other speakers to your event. That person needs to accept as a speaker. And then the reason I do this all in advance is if you do it a week out and you have the event, then you have a week to invite people to attend the event and to register. And that helps to build up the number of people who are going to be live. That's why I like the company page lives. Whereas on your personal profile, people just click to attend, but you're not capturing their information, and you don't need the privacy policy in order to do that. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, so we go live, and I know you set this up because we were using Restream. We go out from Ecamm to Restream, and then what's cool is then Louise can take and send it to all her channels. So that's really, really cool. And she did that, and I had to go in and say, yes, I'm a speaker, and did that all through her company page. One of the questions, and this is Tatiana said this, she goes, I really hope that LinkedIn will allow Ecamm to bring in comments. I thought they could, because I'm able to pull up, and it may be because I'm using Restream. Like Bob's got this question very useful, and that is from LinkedIn. Like I'm pulling up a comment from LinkedIn that way. So I need to check that out, Tatiana. Remind me to talk to the Ecamm people. I don't think it's because I'm using Restream, but I haven't gone just like Louise does, like YouTube and LinkedIn right from Ecamm just by itself. So that's very interesting. Let's see. There's some.
There's a great tip from Bob as well. Talking about, when you set the start time in LinkedIn, you are limited and can only start the stream 15 minutes before and up to 2 hours after. So one time he made the mistake of starting 20 minutes early, and it closed the event completely. Streaming. Very sorry that happened, Bob, but let's learn from Bob. I know he won't make that mistake, and we won't make that mistake going forward as well.
Gotcha. So I guess you can't right now. Dan says I've worked with Katie and the team at LinkedIn to try to get it expedited. So what I am doing to be able to do that is I go out from Ecamm into Restream, then Restream takes it out to the different networks, just because it helps me with my bandwidth is the reason. So yeah, see, he says, other words, LinkedIn won't right now give Ecamm the API to get comments. So hopefully that is coming. So kind of on this topic, because earlier I want to pull up that question, another question for Bob. He goes, vertical or horizontal video has better reach. Is the new 9:16 format gaining any traction? What are some of I want to talk about kind of the nuts and bolts, kind of the limits. Have you found putting vertical video or horizontal video or any of those things, what's kind of the best practices right now, Louise, for video?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's how you like to consume your content. I don't tend to watch LinkedIn on my phone. When I'm on LinkedIn, it's usually on desktop, and I'm quite happy to have horizontal video. When, like with all the other social media platforms as well, if you're on your phone consuming the content and it's a vertical video, it's taking up more of the screen. So I can see how that really appeals to try and get in front of more people. Like if you're scrolling through and there's a vertical video, it's more eye-catching because it's taking up more of your screen than the horizontal video. So with our clients, what we're doing, because we are also going to upload the content as long form video onto YouTube, we're doing landscape at the moment. And I don't think it's really impacting at all whether we do vertical or landscape. I do know if you look at somebody's personal profile activity section and look at their previous videos, and because I was doing a presentation on this earlier, all of the videos are shown as vertical, which means that if I uploaded a landscape video, horizontal, vertical, oh, it's so many different. I still talk about landscape. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
But if it's that size on my profile, it's got the black bar above and below, whereas the vertical videos that I've recorded on my mobile and uploaded to LinkedIn, they're taking up the whole space of that little space for the graphic. So, which makes me think that they probably prefer vertical. And now that they're moving to having this video news feed, I mean, that kind of seconds that. I remember in the pandemic, they purchased a vertical video. It was a kind of a baby social media platform that's kind of coming along, and LinkedIn bought them. So I knew this was coming at some point, this vertical newsfeed, because that's what those guys did. I can't remember their name. But yeah, they're obviously interested in vertical because they want to capture all the people who are used to, have an 18-year-old in the house. She only watches vertical,
right? Exactly.
Stream, like swipey things,
Right.
So they want to stay ahead of. They're not interested in old people like me.
I know. So, I mean, so much of it, we go, get off our lawn. I want my video the way I used to. And the thing is, they're trying to get more users. They're trying to make it so those young people are going to need to get jobs. They're going to be entrepreneurs. They're going to own companies, and this is the way they consume content. And so, if you want to participate, you've kind of got to get on board and change your style. I never thought vertical video. I'm an old school, long time ago, shooting videos for corporate events. I never thought it would take off, but I was wrong because that's how we hold our phones. So,
well, Jeff, that's how you get more of your beard in the picture too.
Exactly. That is the whole reason. It's built for me. It's built for me. So go ahead, Connor. I know you had another question.
Yeah. So let's talk about captions, because I'm seeing more and more across all social platforms, right? There's the accessibility play with captions, but there's also just the engagement. So many people are watching on their phone if they're on LinkedIn mobile with no volume on, right? I think in the last couple of years, there are quite a few tools that make generating captions less cumbersome, very, very easy to do. Whether it's landscape or whether it's vertical. Luis, what say you about captions on our videos in LinkedIn? Is it an absolute must do?
Yeah, it's absolutely essential. So interestingly, LinkedIn will auto caption every video. And I'm sure it's probably auto captioning us right now. So it'd be kind of funny what they think I'm saying with my Belfast accent. But they auto caption every video. Now, every individual's personal profile on LinkedIn will have their own settings. So Connor, you'll have your settings. I'll have my settings. Jeff will have his settings. My settings are that videos stream without sound, but they are also set for, and I just have never gone in and changed this, that the captions are not showing. So I have to click on the button to show the captions. So we embed captions. If a client's video is going on LinkedIn, we embed the captions ourselves. because you don't know who's watching it, what their personal profile settings are, if that makes sense. We want everyone to be able to see the captions, so without them having to go and turn something on or off. So we always embed them in. There was a conversation I had with another LinkedIn expert who said that because I quite like dynamic captions where, as you say each word, it gets highlighted. And somebody said that's actually that is not accessible for people who may be triggered by the moving lights across the screen. So I'm not really sure about that. I would need to know more about that for accessibility, but I quite like that because I think it keeps people, as you say, engaged as each word comes up.
So what we've done with all our repurposing things that I think helps is we do like you said, has the words coming up on our posts, but we also have a progress bar. So people know how much time is invested in watching that, so that they go, oh, it's not going to take me an hour to watch this thing. Look how fast the progress bar is moving. It's not going to take very long. So we have found, and we've done some tests with that it works really well, having that put on there, and you can do that into script is what we use to repurpose everything. So one question I wanted to ask that I didn't give you earlier, but I wanted to talk about, because for us, we throw up a new video like almost every day, but we don't repurpose those again. Like, it's once and done on LinkedIn. How often should you take a piece of content, a video that has performed well, wait, and then post it again? Is there an amount of time that you've seen on LinkedIn? I've always felt LinkedIn is different. Like, you want to have kind of fresher stuff on there, and you don't always want to be churning the same stuff over and over. What are your thoughts on that, Louise?
So it's interesting if you think about the behavior of the people who go to LinkedIn. They're not on there every day. Our ideal clients are not on LinkedIn every day. I would say, some of my ideal clients are companies who want to get all of their staff trained on how to use LinkedIn. And I will see someone commenting on a post that I put up 5 days ago because this is the first time they've had a chance to go on and scroll through the LinkedIn newsfeed. So I say, yes, repurpose that content maybe like every couple of months. However, another little trick, Jeff and Connor, is reposting your own post the next day to give it a little bit of a boost. And I was a bit skeptical about this. I thought that looks a bit cheesy, but actually it really works because people are not on there every day. So it's being sent to new people. And I have seen a real uplift when I've done that. I've seen an uplift in views and comments of people engaging on that content. One of the things we need to think about on LinkedIn is unless we are getting people to comment on our content on LinkedIn, they are not going to see our next post. So we've got to think of a way, how can I create this video content that people start responding below or, asking more questions, because when they do that, then they'll be shown my next video that I post. So you have to think about that too, because you can train, as a user of LinkedIn, you train the algorithm on what you want to see. And as someone who creates content for LinkedIn, the more people will engage with our posts, the more likely they are to see the next post that we put up. So you want to, you don't just broadcast at people, you want to engage with people in the way that we're getting comments here today from this brilliant audience. That this audience will be, notified the next time that you're creating content, because LinkedIn can see that they're already interested in what you're serving up. And we are still in a place where about 97% of LinkedIn account holders don't post anything at all. So it is such fresh ground to be claimed that we should just be doing it.
That's right. And I think one of the we have the best friends that show up every week for this show. So they're amazing, and I thank them for all these great contents. So yeah, and Steve Saul says, hey, everyone over on LinkedIn says, getting loads from this. So thank you, Steve, for chiming in. So
this is awesome. Cool. Yeah, there's so much. We've talked about getting started a little bit with video, and kind of one tool you need, of course, if you want to live stream, is another platform, right? An eCam sort of thing to go from. But Louise, if someone comes to you, a client comes to you, and they're looking to get started with video on LinkedIn, what's some of the gear that they need is a must-have for when they're just getting started? I mean, of course, a camera and audio and stuff like that, but what's kind of the bare minimum that you think someone should invest in if they're looking to start video on LinkedIn?
genuinely, all you need is a phone camera and a microphone. A microphone is so vital, because if you don't have a microphone, as you guys know, you turn your head to the window and you lose the sound quality. But it is so simple to get done. I do like the little tripod. I always use my tripod whenever I'm creating a video on my phone. But that's it. I literally have the microphone, the phone, and the tripod. So the tripod keeps me steady. But that is genuinely all you need. What you really need is a game plan on what you're going to talk about. That's much more important, because there's no point just, okay, I'm convinced I'm going to do video on LinkedIn. Louise has me convinced. Well, what are you going to say? What are you going to talk about? I think that's, a bit more important. And I think, Connie, to your point at the very start about, the reason people work with me is because they are nervous about LinkedIn. They're not quite sure. This is a bit of a different platform. What about the people I used to work with? What are they going to say about, what is she doing on video on here? And people are a bit more nervous about even posting normal text posts on here. They never mind putting themselves out there on video, but once they do, oh my goodness, the feedback we get from our clients that they're getting from their network about doing video, like people are applauding all over the place because this person's been brave enough to do it. So there's a whole mindset shift needed. If you think about, Louise, what do I create content on? It goes back to what can you talk to your audience about that helps them? How can you come at this from being of service to them? Can you, if you are an expert in, Java programming or something, and your audience are people who want to get started in this, can you literally create some basic beginner videos on how to do this? If you are a live speaking coach and people want to get booked for speaking at conferences, then create video that says, here's how to find the next conference. Here's how to pitch to be a speaker at a conference. Here's the key things that you need. What does it look like when you put together a one-page speaker bio? Here's the top things to include. That kind of stuff goes down so well with people. And it's not even necessarily that the only people who watch that are people who really want to be a speaker on stage. It's that other people are interested in it. And this goes back to LinkedIn, why they came up with the creator mode in the first place. All the people who are looking for jobs and want to get hired and want to advance in their career, they are not posting and creating content on LinkedIn. So why would they come to LinkedIn? Well, they come to LinkedIn because people like the three of us are going live and creating interesting, hopefully engaging content, which is bringing people to the platform. So whatever field you work in, if you work in geology, and interestingly, I have a lot of people in geology in my network from an event I must have done a couple of years ago, like really cool geologists. So they're creating content about geology and they have their whole little network of people who are interested in that stuff. And they show up for the people who talk about it, who are seen as the thought leaders, and the people who are creating video and that stuff are, it's the whole growing your know, like, and trusts and being seen as an expert. Mm-hmm. And those people are getting picked to speak on stages and invited to podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So that was a bit of a lecture to everybody, a bit of a rant there.
No,
but just try and get started and get someone to hold your hand to get going. But also think, well, what can I create that actually my audience are interested in, and how can I help them? And if you go from that position, you might find it a bit easier.
So we're at the top of the hour, but do you have time for one more question, Louise?
Sure.
If we do, okay, so this is really good, and you kind of hit on it before, but I wanted to kind of really let you answer this. But Bob goes, I heard that talking about a personal life, hobbies, activities, not drama, to add character to profile is good content for live. Would you agree? And then he follows up by saying, or is it better to keep content purely work business content and always keep it business orientated? What are your thoughts on that?
So I have an analogy about treat LinkedIn as though you were going to your favorite industry conference. So if I went to a conference full of my potential clients and people who work in my space, would I just talk about LinkedIn? Well, actually, possibly. But I did speak at a LinkedIn conference. So this is a perfect case in point. I spoke at a conference that all the speakers were talking about LinkedIn, all the attendees. I was quite nervous about it because they're all like LinkedIn experts. And there's like, I think there's 170 people in the audience. Well, I talked about Bruce Springsteen at that event, and I had the most glorious slide. It was the screen was an IMAX screen, so there's a picture of me standing in front of this IMAX screen with Bruce Springsteen behind me. It's like, hello moment. So absolutely, let people get to know a little bit about you, and then we had a bit of banter about it afterwards. In the breaks. So, oh, Louise, are you going to see Bruce Springsteen this summer? Yeah, of course I am, because we connect on a human level as well. Now, I'm not going to create a 3-minute video talking about Bruce Springsteen, obviously, but if you can let people know a little bit about you while you are sharing all your other great expertise, then yeah, of course, why not?
That is a great tip. That's a great way to end. And on that note, because you have done, such good stuff, we've got to have you on again, because I always enjoy talking to you, Louise. But where can people find out more about you, your podcast, your videos, all the trainings that you do? Where's the best place to find out about Louise Brogan? Over
on my website, louisebrogan.com. That would be perfect. I'd come and connect with me on LinkedIn and say you saw me on the show.
Yeah, she's her blog and her YouTube. Like I'm saying, folks, if you want to optimize your LinkedIn, you need to go check out those channels and subscribe to them, because they're really, really, really good. Another really, really good thing is Connor's vacation planning services, because it is that time of year again. Connor Brown, where can people find out more about you?
You can find out more about me at vacationkingdoms.com. We can help you plan your next vacation. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I know I am actually. It's the letter R, Connor Brown, over at LinkedIn. Find me, connect with me.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have such great comments from Bob Cartwright, Jonathan Perez. Michelle says, thank you. I jumped on late. Don't worry. You can always watch the replay. It's going to be on YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you consume your content. It will be there. But thank you guys. Ask Ralph is here. Dan, thank you so much for your comments. You did not bother us. It was amazing. So what were you going to say?
Give the people the code. Be sure to give people
the code. Right. Thank you for the code. For you guys who want to win a chance to win a ticket to the Creator Conference that Ecamm is putting on later on this year, you can go to jeffc.com/win. But the special code is O13EEI. So that's O13EEI. That will give you extra chance to win that Creator ticket. And with that, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Louise, for this amazing show. Thank you for all the people who showed up and asked such great questions. And Connor. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. See you later. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.